Hi there, it's Wendy from Ask the Landlady, and I'm here with all the tips and tricks to help you make a profit in real estate rentals. I've written a book or two. Check them out on Amazon. I appreciate you guys and your readers and your feedback. And hit subscribe while you're at it here on YouTube so that we can keep having this great dialogue about being a landlady and being a landlord, and all of us trying to work together to make our industry better and so that we can all make a profit in real estate. Today's question, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm big on systems. So the question I got from a subscriber was, how do you create these landlord systems so that you have more time for yourself, right? A lot of people get into real estate because they want to do it as a little side hustle. They've heard it's a great thing to do. Buy a little duplex, buy a couple houses, rent them out. It's easy. You're going to make a lot of money. It's passive income. It's not very passive, but we'll talk about that later. And so they want to have some great systems so that they're not married to that rental. They're not spending all their time on these rentals and tearing their hair out and thinking, why did I do this? This is a terrible idea. I did that back in the beginning. I learned real quick that the answer to this was systems, processes in place so that I could automate tasks and free myself up from a lot of the things that I was running around crazy trying to achieve or do. So the first thing I recommend is to automate your rent collection system, okay? Back in the day, and there's probably, I know there's some of you still doing this, going door to door and collecting that rent in person from the people, like it's a newspaper route. I used to have a newspaper route back in the day, and I'd go and have to collect that payment every week, and it was a pain. You know, people would hide from you. They'd lock their screen door in the trailer park. They'd take off in the car because they didn't want to pay me that $5.25 for their newspaper week. It was terrible, but it prepared me to be a landlady. And my recommendation is automate. You don't even want to do it. You want to be home. You want to be somewhere else, and people are paying you automatically. So, and you can use some systems like Venmo and PayPal. I'd be careful on those. I know some landlords have had some trouble there because they can't reject payments if they're trying to do that, if it's actually an eviction scenario, or they're trying to only give you partial payments. You don't want to accept partial payments. So they're not as good as a dedicated property management software option. So you might instead want to look at like TurboTenant or Appfolio or Zillow, or those ones that will give you that capability. There's a lot of services out there that will do that, and that they will handle the credit cards for you and even pass that fee on to the tenant so that you don't have to eat that cost, and just give more options to your tenants, because nowadays they don't want to just, there aren't many people out there writing checks, and cash can be a whole nother can of worms there with taxes and loss and stealing and all those types of things. So you want to have a good automated system where it's just going to automatically dump right into your account and you don't even have to think about it. That's the number one thing I would say to do to make your life easier. Number two, you want to create a cheat sheet for every aspect of your business, everything that you're already doing. So that anyone, literally anyone off the street could come in and do these tasks for you, right? So if there's a certain way that you go about winterizing all your properties, write it all down. That way, if you want to take off to Florida one year early, and in November these tasks are coming up, you can hire somebody out and say, here's my cheat sheet. Just do all these things and get them done. And stuff like what to do when a tenant moves out. And might have different repairs to check, and what supplies you need, what you need to do after somebody's moved out, schedule a cleaning, schedule this, that, all those types of things, all on your cheat sheet. And these are going to be individualized to you. You can certainly pay some people to do it. You can go on AI and have them create, AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, create a move-out checklist for me. Create a winterizing list for my single-family homes, whatever. You can get those checklists and have them on file so that anyone, your kids, your mom, your brother, your friends, somebody you hire, can jump in and help you with your business, because you never know. You may get sick, a spouse may get sick, you may want to travel, you may take on another job and you just want more free time. You want those things now so that you can prepare for those events in the future, not panic at the last minute. Number three, have a good system for handling phone calls. You're going to get phone calls. You can try as you might. If you only have one or two, maybe you can really say, I'm never going to answer the phone, so only email me or only text me or whatever you want to do. But my recommendation, I made a mistake in the beginning of my business of giving out my cell phone number that I also use for everything, my family, whatever. And that thing would ring and ring and ring. It's funny, last week, that number is still floating out there in Google land. Two people found it last week. Somebody who was, actually wanted to work for me, and somebody else who wanted an apartment, and they called my cell phone, and it was kind of jarring because I thought I'd eradicated that from Mission Group Apartments, but evidently I haven't. It's still out there, my private number. And so don't do that. There's so many better systems now that you can route to another phone number. You can give a dummy phone number and it still comes to your phone. That way you can kind of keep things separate. I'd also put into place, like, I only take emergency phone calls. Everything else must be in writing, through email or text or paper, whatever you prefer, so that you have a written trail, number one, and number two, so that you're not being bothered. You know, nobody wants to be hijacked by a phone call that turns into a 20-minute thing and you're at work and they're angry when they could have just emailed you, and then at your leisure, you could get back to them and call back with something that you've already thought and prepared for. So there you have it. 3 ways to get more time for yourself in this business. Number 1, automate that rent. Number 2, create those cheat sheets. And number 3, make sure you know how you're going to handle phone calls so that they do not take over your life. So there you have it. It's not easy being a landlady and landlord. People will try to run you and push you, so you need to take control of this business, and you need to set your parameters and your expectations right up front. That way, you're not tearing your hair out. The business is being taken care of. Tenants are happy, and we're just all doing well. And number 1, making a profit in real estate rentals. Thanks. Hit subscribe. Shoot me a message. Is there something that you do in your business that's helped you free up time? I'd love to hear about it. I know we all would. So put it down there in the comments, and check out my book, Lessons from Landlady, and have a great day.